Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Midday News. The news is live on Joy 99.7 in Accra, on Love 99.5 in Kumasi. We're also live in all 16 regions of Ghana, including Radio Max, Takoradi, Bupe FM Bupe, and Dreams FM Bolgatanga. We're also live on X Spaces, Facebook live stream, and My Joy online interactive app. The Midday News is sponsored by Petrosol, your clean fuel in full quantity. Petrosol, always a delightful experience. Also brought to you by Duraplus Ghana Limited, producers of quality PVC and HDPE pipes and water tank, the only water storage tank with a level indicator. Where Duraplus goes, water flows. Coming up, the NDC faction on the Mines and Energy Committee calls for the resignation of the Electricity Company of Ghana's managing director and the board, alleging dissemination of false information on the power situation and failure to address PURC directives.
ECG, the board and board that includes the end, should be packing their bags and leaving their office because this document is scandalous. It is something that is unacceptable. And if we're living in a very serious country, Samuel Dubik should have signed his resignation letter.
We have some details from our sources at the ECG. Also, support for the proposed privatization of ECG and Gridco grows among industry watchers, but some are urging caution.
We are where we are today because of excessive politicization of the energy sector.
When Asantini talks about that and talks about local participation, it is possible. For us, the major issue we find is the excessive political interference.
Attempt by NDC MP to get High Court to order President Akufo-Addo to receive the anti-LGBTQ bill hits a snag as AG files a last-minute affidavit in opposition to the application.
A bit of a surprise today was the fact that the Attorney General, who had indicated at our last sitting that they were not going to file an affidavit in opposition, but were going to come and argue on points of law, have now filed a formal affidavit in opposition.
We'll bring you that. Also, former NPP MP for Ejiso files nomination to contest by-election as an independent candidate vowing to win the seat, declaring his bid is supported by the voters in the constituency.
It's the people who vote that has called for duty. So I believe they will do exactly what they want to do for me, that I should be voted for, so that I go to Parliament and continue what I did.
But Ashanti Regional Chairman of the NPP, Wontumi, says it may be NDC pushing for the former MP to contest as an independent candidate.
Now, why you don't want to follow the party? Is it NDC people who are pushing you? Is it NDC people? We are going to go deep to it.
We have sports, and later we'll bring you another Ghanaian suffers rejection after failing to meet the guidelines of his Guinness World Record-breaking attempt for the most lipstick applications by an individual.
A few days ago, I received my results from Guinness World Record. It wasn't what I was expecting. It was quite surprising. The email they sent me, it indicated that I didn't apply the lipstick fully on the lips of my model.
These are more coming up with me, Maame, Nyamekye, Thompson. Please stay for details. And this afternoon, the NDC side on the Mines and Energy Committee of Parliament is demanding the resignation of the Managing Director of the Electricity Company of Ghana and the entire board. The group accuses them of peddling untruth about the power situation in the country and failing to respond to demands by the regulator PURC. The entity imposed a fine on members of the ECG board who served between January 1 and March 18, 2024. The fine, totaling 5,868,000 Ghana cedis, comes from the board's violation of Regulation 39 of LI 2413, which mandates notifying consumers beforehand of any power interruptions. Speaking to my colleague Elton Brobe, a member of the Mines and Energy Committee, Edward Barr says the entire board must be sacked.
If we're living in a very serious country, Samuel Dubik should not have a job today. He shouldn't have a job today. If we're living in a very serious country, the board members of ECG should have all been fired. But see, we are not living in normal times. We're living in a place in a country where the breaking of laws can be done in a very with so much impunity.
Financial implications imposed on them. Is that not punishment enough for you?
The financial implication is not a substitute for the punishment for being incompetent. The companies have lost money as a result of this. Ghanaians have suffered because remember there's a social contract between the producers, the utilities, and consumers. Consumers are not getting the best service, even though they pay for their bills. They are saying that even if I'm not getting the best service, the law says that if you are not going to give me power, tell me within 3 days that at least I should have 3 days notice to tell me that I am not going to get power, or maybe on the 3rd day that I'm not going to get power. You have not abided by those ones. That is what they are punishing them on. But I'm saying that beyond just bridging the laws, I am saying that ECG, the board and the board that includes the MD, should be packing their bags and leaving their office, because this document is scandalous. It is something that is unacceptable. And if we're living in a very serious country, Samuel Dubik should have signed his resignation letter and then as if save the small, respect he has left for himself.
And if they don't, you expect the appointing authority to act?
I will continuously raise the issue that they must go. They have lost the right to occupy those offices, and they must leave the office. What kind of indiscipline is this? President Akufo-Addo checked out many months ago as being the president of this country, so he can't be bothered as to what is happening. I am really irritated by the fact that this is a sector that we were struggling to see how we could bring it back to normalcy, to ensure that we can have reliable and affordable electricity supply to Ghanaians, devoid of debt and stress. What these people have done under President Akufo-Addo is to mess up the sector. And they have now appointed people who simply cannot be bothered about whether the country has a viable power sector or not. They can't be bothered because in their houses, they can put.
And you heard the member of the Energy and Mines Committee in Parliament, Edward Bowen, an interview with my colleague Elton Brobe. But what's the latest on this subject, and has the ECG board responded to the issue? My colleague Elton joins me in studio. Elton, what are you learning?
Maame, so a lot going on. My understanding is that the presidency held a meeting with all the players in the industry, and the president was not happy with what they describe as the bad blood that is existing between the PURC, the ECG, Gridco on this matter. And the presidency was quite clear that in going forward, all of them must work out on their differences to ensure that they work towards sustaining a reliable power supply in the country. Right. Now, my understanding is that when the issue about the correspondence between PURC and ECG came up, PURC was of the view that they felt disrespected by ECG not complying with some of the demands they made on them. Now, my information is that the president directed ECG to respond and then provide details on the matter that is already in the public domain. ECG, from what I've checked, is that in the coming days they will be making a formal presentation to PURC. Right. What I'm picking is that they will ask that PURC withdraw the 5.6 million charge fine imposed on the board, including the MD of the ECG, and that they will reject outright the conclusion of PURC on this matter, and will further make demand that PURC withdraw the 5.8 million Ghana cedis that the board is expected to pay. And secondly, we'll go on to explain that the fact that they are unable to provide a load management timetable is because they don't have clarity on the time in terms of shortfall that they always get from Gridco. The reason why they cannot be so clear as to present the timetable on this matter in the following days, this response will be forwarded to PURC.
Thank you, Elton Brobe. Now, the unreliable supply of power in the country has again reignited the debate for the private participation in the energy sector. The Asantehene Otumfuo II at the commissioning of the Genser gas project in Kumasi raised the issue.
VRA and others are all government establishment. Let's give it out and divest to private sector, and then we inject money in there.
Zoom.
And get the right people to do it.
Zoom.
Gridco and others are all for private sector. Let's give them the money, get the qualified people, divest government from it, and let them do it.
Zoom.
Other than that, electricity company is in a situation where we don't know, but that also must be divested and give it to private sector.
Zoom.
Why are we still holding it when we don't have the money?
Zoom.
We are not even able to collect all the taxes that we want.
Well, the proposal is receiving support from some industry watchers. Here's policy analyst Dr. Steve Mantiel.
The reason I will support Otumfuo's call is that we are where we are today because of excessive politicization of the energy sector. And you see this play out in the way ECG has responded to calls for load shedding schedule. If ECG should respond to that call positively, it would mean an admission of the fact that we are in doomsday, which then hands over a certain political advantage or equalization to the opposition party, because this current government has played politics with the sector and had not recently indicated that he leaves the legacy of doomsday to Mahama. Now, how does the ECG managing director, who is appointed by the president, turn around to act in ways that admit that there is doomsday, or at least openly admit that there is doomsday? And therefore, we as the shareholders of the company are being told the entire truth about where we are and why we are here.
President of Imani Ghana, Franklin Kudjo, is however urging caution.
And what's the point, really? Why not give it to somebody who will be doing it properly and returning the value? I mean, companies have been here since time. Didn't MTN start as Scancom? Why have they evolved? I mean, they've evolved all these years and are doing well. How much taxes do they pay? They pay so much and still find time, money to do other corporate social responsibility activities. Of course, the state cannot be the same as a corporate entity. But at least, if you want to give your money to a politician to manage your life for you, you better be sure that he's able to return some real value.
But the chairman of the Public Utilities Workers Union, Michael Nyamekye, is blaming politicization of ECG for its current state.
We have always maintained that the answer to the challenge that we are facing in the energy sector is not just by simply handing over the institution to a private sector operator. We believe that there are key challenges in the system. And for us, the major issue we find with almost all the state institutions is the excessive political interference. If we are able to deal with that, I strongly believe that there are very qualified professionals in all these energy institutions, if given the free hand without any political maneuvering, will be able to do a professional job that will not bring us into where we are at the moment.
Well, still on energy issues this evening, we have a thought leadership session on the power sector. And head of our energy desk, Samuel Kudjo joins me in studio with more. Samuel, I believe all is set. What should we expect?
Expect proper diagnosis of the issue at hand and cogent solutions as to how the problem can be tackled.
Right. And who will make the panel?
So we have a former Deputy Energy Minister on board. We have Dr. Mantea, who is an energy analyst. We also have POO, the Public Utility Workers Union. We also have, expect all the people who
the
really
big names in the industry.
When it comes to energy. Yeah,
Steve Mantio and the rest will all be there.
Yes.
And we're also expecting you.
And as well, critical, the chairman of the Mines and Energy Committee, as well as the ranking, they are all on the panel.
Fantastic. Yeah. And so we'll make a date this evening, 6 p.m. on all our platforms. Do make a date and listen. Now, the attempt by NDC MP for South Dai and co-sponsor of the anti-LGBTQ bill, Roxanne Nelson Defiamakpo, to get an Accra High Court to order President Akufo-Addo to receive the bill and signify whether he will sign it or not, has hit a snag. The MP is seeking an order of mandamus directed at the President and got the court to expeditiously hear the matter. Today in court, the Attorney General was expected to address the court on points of law, but only yesterday his office has filed an affidavit in opposition which will delay the case a bit further. Member of our Legal Affairs Desk, Kweku Asante, was in court and joins me with details. Kweku, take us through the proceedings in court this morning.
Well, in court this morning, the expectation was that the Attorney General or his representative will make the points on the law on mandamus, and then the court will take cognizance of those details and then make a ruling. But we're told by a senior state attorney who represented the Attorney General in court this morning that the AG has now opted to file an affidavit in opposition. And that affidavit in opposition was actually filed yesterday and was served on Nikwaku Samoado, his lawyer for Roxanne Nelson Defiamakpo in the court. Roxanne Defiamakpo's lawyers are also electing to respond to some of those issues that have been set out by the Attorney General and have gotten the leave of the court to do so. The court has now adjourned the case to 29th April to be able to hear from both parties. But the crux of the Attorney General's case is that even if an order of mandamus were to lie in this case, the Attorney General says he does not believe that Roxanne Nelson Dafeamekpo has that cause in law to be able to get the court to issue that order.
Well, is the MP and his lawyers happy about the pace at which this case is moving?
Well, we spoke to Nipabu Samoado after the case today, and he says that he believes that although these issues might delay the case a little bit, he believes that the court has still been gracious and has been dealing with this matter quite expeditiously.
Remember that if you were to file a fresh matter and we were to go by the normal court process, we would actually not be in line to be heard by now. But as the court has been very gracious, because of the application for expedited hearing, as you can see, all of us are trying to file our processes on time. The only thing that was of a bit of a surprise today was the fact that the Attorney General, who had indicated at our last sitting that they were not going to file an affidavit in opposition, but were going to come and argue on points of law, have now filed a formal affidavit in opposition and their statement of case. So we would have to take a look at it. We looked at it in the court. We were served in the court.
Anti-LGBTQ being held in the balance. Your clients and the NDC MPs have made a strong case for why this must be expeditiously dealt. Whilst you want this expeditiously heard and decided on, there's really nothing going on.
Clearly, there's a lot going on. Allow the court process to proceed. So on the 29th, there should be no reason why the court will not go ahead, either to give us a date for the decision or maybe to give us some further direction.
And Nipabu Samoado is lawyer for Roxanne Nelson Dafeamekpo. Bakweku, we're also learning there's some latest development on the SML case in court.
Well, yes, Maame, according to this order signed by John Eugene Nyanti Nyedu, who is the Justice of the High Court, they have given an order for substituted service to be served on the Fourth Estate and Manasseh Azuri Awone in that defamation case filed by SML, Strategic Mobilization Ghana Limited. It says, upon reading the affidavit of Isaac Ofusu-Boateng of Samokujito Associates, and upon hearing the submissions of Elikem Benson and Ruthan Mills Tete, it is hereby ordered that the second defendant be served with the writ of summons and statement of claim by the following modes: posting copies on the notice board of the High Court Law Court Complex, Accra, by posting copies on the premises of the first defendant and publishing copies in the Ghanaian Times newspaper. So the case is being made that SML is not finding Manasseh Azuri Awone to serve him with the defamation court documents, and the court has now given an order for substituted service.
Thank you very much, Kweku Asante, is member of our legal affairs desk. Moving on, the teacher unions are addressing a news conference on their impasse with government. My colleague Blessed Soga is there. We'll take a listen.
Are there some people feasting largely on monies that are supposed to be sent to the unions and third-party organizations? The Comptroller and Accountant General and the Ministry of Finance needs to give responses to these questions that we are putting before them. That the monies deducted from the teachers, the doctors, the nurses, the public servants, into what accounts are these kept, and why are they not promptly and timeously being transferred into the institutions that they are supposed to be transferred into? Colleagues, the accounts have a saying that right now the government is not stealing from its own workers, because this is workers' money. Government has deducted the workers' monies, and yet government is refused to transfer the monies that have been deducted from the salaries of the worker into the various designated institutions. And if these monies had come to the various designated institutions, like GSOP and the various trusts, those monies would have been invested and interest would have accrued. Now that you've denied this institution these monies, it means that there is no investment accruals on these monies that have been deducted from the Ghanaian worker. So that aspect is taken away from the worker. What ought to be with the worker into somebody's account or into government account or into government chest. Government will have to tell us why this situation is arisen.
And you had the president of NAGRAT, Angel Kabonu, addressing the press on some concerns they have in claiming that government is deducting some monies from their workers. We'll be following up on this development. You're still listening to the Midday News on Joy 99.7 FM, and we'll be taking a break. We'll return. We have sports, and later in the bulletin, another Ghanaian suffers rejection after failing to meet the guidelines of his Guinness World Record-breaking attempt for the most lipstick applications by an individual.
A few days ago, I received my results from Guinness World Record. It wasn't what I was expecting. It was quite surprising.
When budgets are tight and money difficult to come by, you want to be sure you get the best value for your money. These are not times to be spending money fixing expensive engine problems because of cheap fuel and lubricants. Drive to a petrol source station today and buy your quality fuel and lubricants, and rest assured of fuel that lasts long and lubricants that prevent expensive engine problems. Hear the sound. Petrosol, clean fuel in full quantity.
Just like that Sochi Wachi, that's exactly what Aquaba Magic gives you. Enjoy rich Ghanaian stories, like the second season of the legendary Inspector Bediako, the captivating Madame, and so much more on DSTV channel 150 and GoTV channel 102. Aquaba Magic, dear. Enjoyment and kasa. Now available on DSTV Access and GoTV Plus. Aquaba Magic, Ghana's most loved storyteller.
Well. How is your good life?
Mine has been great, you know. My entire family and I sleep under an insecticide-treated net every night, throughout the night, and wake up feeling sound every day with absolutely no mosquito bite.
My good life has been terrific. My entire family and I, we wash our hands with soap and running water before we cook and eat, and after using the toilet, we don't play with it.
When my wife was pregnant, I accompanied her to every antenatal session. She took all her medication, ate balanced diet, and gave birth without any complications. My good life has been smooth.
Let's all come aboard Good Life and live healthy and happy. Good Life, live it well. It's an everyday thing. Good Life from Ghana Health Service and partners with support from USAID.
Welcome back. In today's Field Exhibition series, we take you to Nigerian Quarters, a suburb of Achimota in the Okankwe North Municipality, where residents struggle with stench from an over 30-year-old dump site in the middle of the community. My colleague Prince Kwame Kudoga has more in the following report read to you.
Welcome to the Nigerian Quarters, a vibrant suburb nestled on the outskirts of Achimota, the Okaikwe North Municipality of the Greater Accra region. But beneath its colorful facade lies a stinky secret that has been plaguing its residents for over 3 decades. Residents continue to grapple with the consequences of a spring ground right in their midst.
In fact, my brother, like what I'm saying, when the sun like this, you can't get it, the smell it too much. Like the evening, you will see what is going on. Or rainfall. When you fall the big, fall big self, you will hear it all the smell.
The problem we are facing is that the smelling of the boiler, and then also we can create sickness, and we have families too.
Many people shit on the boiler, but you will never see them. You can't see them because they come here night. The night we all sleep. How can we see them?
But why is a dumping site sitting in the middle of a community?
Where the boiler it is, there is this building washing room. So the washing room can be rejecting one. They know they use it again. Where they come back like bush. When they start to put a boiler, that time they were annoying. Say when they joke, there will be a boiler. And truth, it will be a boiler.
They now want city authorities to, as a matter of urgency, come to their aid.
And now what we beg you people, make our penny for our elders here, say make them come remove the boiler, give us. Because the sickness too will be too much. So we can't wait till we die before they go come remove the boiler.
Here in Achimota, the residents cling to hope like a life raft in a sea of despair, praying that someday soon their pleas will be heard and their plight acknowledged. Prince Kwame Kudiga's report.
Now that was for our Filth Exhibition series. Now the condition of an 8-year-old girl suffering from leukemia is deteriorating as her family races against time to raise $45,000 more for a bone marrow transplant. The Class 3 pupil was rushed to the intensive care unit of an Indian hospital where her treatment has started. The family previously needed $88,000 but managed to raise part of the money, but now needs $45,000 more to complete the treatment. Prince Kudoga's report read to you.
8-year-old Okuya was diagnosed with leukemia in November 2023. The once active tennis player is unable to move any part of her body. Akuya's mother, a midwife, Sharon Nadu Ankuma, says life has not been the same as a result of her daughter's condition.
I haven't been to work since she was diagnosed because we've been on admission since that time. Because initially I used to cry day in and day out. And out of this situation, my mom also came to visit and she was having hypertension and diabetes, but we lost her when she saw Akuya. Her blood sugar started shooting up and the BP also started shooting up, and she was just admitted at the emergency unit, and through that we lost her.
She tells Joy News, despite efforts to raise the amount, less than a quarter of it has been raised so far.
Since December 19 that she was being diagnosed, since then she has been in the hospital. The public, it hasn't been so encouraging. It hasn't been so encouraging because.
And you can send your donations to MTN mobile money number 0559331450. Name of the account holder is Sharon Nadu Ankuma. Bank account number is 401106006834 GCB Takrady main branch. Account name is Sharon Nadu Ankuma. Now to politics. Former NPP MP for Ejiso Kwabna Osu Ejiomi has walked his talk and filed his nominations with the Electoral Commission to contest the Ejiso by-election as an independent candidate. The former MP's team announced the decision last week, just before the NPP will elect its candidate for the election to replace the late John Kuma. The MP says the people of Ejiso have asked him to contest to return to Parliament to continue his work.
It's the people who vote that has called for duty. So I believe they will do exactly what they want to do for me, that I should be voted for, so that I go to Parliament and continue what I did for them years ago. NPP never did anything for me. If we are to assess what me and MPP we've done for each other, my brothers and sisters, I will tell you that I have done more for MPP in their pursuit for breaking the 8 than they have done for me. As MPP took me to school, I'm a civil engineer. I was a practicing civil engineer. And when I was in Parliament, my performance in Parliament and support I gave the Minister for Roads and Highways was enormous.
But Ashanti Regional Chairman of the NPP, Bernard Enchiboisiako, popularly known as Chairman Wuntumi, says the party would roundly defeat the former NPP MP.
Honorable, Ajay, Osajay was the MP. Then he was a minister. Then you came to overthrow him. Then you also become deputy minister. Then John Kuma also came to overthrow you. So now why you don't want to follow the party? You know, is it NDC people who are pushing you?
Now, Ghanaian primary and pre-tertiary students have started building robots that can compete on the global stage through the study of science, technology, engineering and mathematics. With STEM education having been identified as subject that sharpens the minds of students, these kids have also developed easy-to-play mobile games and are hoping to win gold for Ghana when they represent the country at the 2024 VEX Robotics World Championship. Now, Kenneth JC has more on this report.
Artificial intelligence has taken the world by storm. Through hands-on experience and guidance from dedicated coaches from Bountiful STEM Educational Foundation, these kids have honed their skills in coding, engineering, and problem-solving to develop sophisticated robots capable of competing at a global level. They are confident of their chances when they participate in the 2024 VEX Robotics World Championship.
So to compete with other people from all over the world, I think us as Ghanaians, we are going to do very well. We've been practicing and we've been training for so long that I think when we go there, we are really going to be able to.
So far, we've been creating robots. I've created a drivetrain, a claw bot, and then last year the competition we went. Yes, I was part of the builders who made our robot, and then this year too, I helped build the robot.
And that was for Tech Thursday. Welcome to Max and Jackie. What's trending?
Well, a lot. Today is Throwback Thursday, and we posed the question to our followers on social media. But Issy, what was your favorite childhood snack, by the way?
I can't readily remember. I think I enjoyed what my mom gave me because she wouldn't even buy it for you. That's the thing. She won't buy it for you.
Well, we put these snacks out there: Palace biscuits, Jolly Juice, Alewa, Pocky, Cabin biscuits, and people have been sharing nostalgic memories on Facebook.
Yeah, so Palace biscuit,
delicious biscuit, Palace biscuit, delicious.
At this point, I can't relate to this one.
Biscuits.
Hey, Palace biscuit. Okay, so Doomsaw is also trending. Doomsaw dominated the news, and we have our Doomsaw diaries also here. But on a day, we have a big conversation on the matter. Later today at 6 p.m. Doomsaw is trending on Twitter, and Twitteratists have a lot to say. This one here from Receipts Guy, he says Dr. Baumia was the loudest to diagnose the cause of Doomsaw under the previous government. Today he's quite on it. We thought he had all the solutions. So as for the heat, we are all feeling it. Kumasi people are feeling it. Accra people are feeling it.
I felt it.
And it's a survival, situation.
We continue to feel it.
Yeah. So, this is the anthem.
We hope that Thermal One plant will bring some relief. And on that note, we end the bulletin here on Joy 99.7 FM. Also live on over 30 affiliates and Ghana's 16 regions. I am Maame Nyamekye Thompson. Up next is Pastor Mensa Audible with Living Word.